Well, kia ora, Mr Speaker. I'm pleased to add my contribution at the second reading of this food bill, sir. And while I'm not a member of the committee, I do want to acknowledge the work that has gone at the committee level among colleagues from all around this House, because, sir, this is a significant piece of legislation. It's a good 470-odd pages thick, and as other speakers have noted, it covers the broad spectrum of food businesses, from our small coffee cart operator right through to our multinational major food industrial production export companies. So it is a significant piece of legislation. It has been a long time in the making. We've heard some profound quotes there from Churchill. We've heard this afternoon, we've even had our fire Annette King evoke imagery of giving birth. I'd rather not go there, but I'd like to add my own contribution, sir, in that this legislation is like the good old mainland cheese ads from about the 1990s, in that good things take time. And just as we can picture the beautiful mainland of Te Waipounamu, my wonderful electorate, and the beautiful Alps there, and the wonderful the old Karoas there that we're that we're talking about their cheese making abilities. Indeed, this piece of legislation is the same, sir. It is long overdue, but it's had a very good once-over. It's been well scrutinised by the committee. There's been a number of very thoughtful and submissions made, and they have resulted in some positive amendments being made to the bill, sir. In thinking about this, while I might not be, learned in all of the aspects of this bill, I do think of the times that I've actually worked in the food industry. And, sir, I worked for an iwi export fisheries company, my own folks, whānau down there in Ngaitahu, and I know the amount of work and effort that goes into the export industries, or seafood industries, in terms of the licensing that they have to maintain, the very strict highest international standards that our exporters have to meet to be able to comply and to sell our produce around the world, sir. And so I'm very well aware of the great level of work and effort and cost that those businesses incur in being able to trade our wonderful seafood bounty from the sea and from right across the land overseas. And I'm reminded, sir, of when I was in the seafood industry. We followed a consignment of lobster and what we might call crayfish. And, sir, that what might be is actually a delicacy, I guess, but it's for those who enjoy their recreational fishing and can put a pot down or dive, they can enjoy a good feed of crays. But, sir, a lot of effort goes into the export of that product, from potting it maybe in places like the Chatham Islands or down in Fiordland Way, where we're from. But, sir, that product goes all the way through our export facilities, packed out, chilled down, put onto the big aeroplanes, flying all the way over to Hong Kong. From there, it goes into some what they call grey channels, and it's sped through under the cover of darkness into some ports in southern China. And, sir, all that effort goes in, and all the care and attention that we paid to getting our product in the pristine shape to the market, and then once we saw it arrive on the other side, it was heartbreaking almost, because it just got ripped open and dumped on the concrete floor. But that's what our customers chose to do with our product. But at least we made sure that we upheld our reputation, that we supply the finest food products to the world, to discerning customers, to high-paying discerning markets worldwide. And so, getting back to the bill, sir, we do see that we are improving the food handling practices. the food control through the implementation of food control plans and national programs. And I like the focus of the bill that it's all around risk management, rather than the old 30-year-old regulations around food hygienes where food inspectors would check whether a wall is clean or check the premises. This is all about the practices. This is all about the handling of food and making sure that they are compliant and they all fall under the umbrella of the relevant food control plans or national programs. And so we know we're dealing with a whole raft of all different types of businesses that trade in food, as I mentioned earlier. And of course, no one size fits all, but of course we don't want to add overly cumbersome bureaucratic requirements on small operators, especially. And so I'm pleased that, you know, the Select Committee has, and through the Minister's supplementary order paper, have made some common sense amendments, sir, which will mean that the likes of the Kiwiana sausage sizzle and the good old bring a plate to the local whatever it is, club or any other social occasion that people go to, those good old traditions that we hold dear will bring a plate with some lovely home-cooked kai on it. Those good old traditions, sir, are being excluded from the full ambit of this legislation because it would be, it just would be, we wouldn't want to go down that path, sir, and regulating the good old traditions of the Kiwi sausage sizzle. So, sir, this is a very sensible, as I mentioned, a very sensible piece of legislation. There are also many other aspects in there around the monitoring, the different types of food businesses, because of course there's also medium to higher risk businesses based on the types of food that they produce and sell, and therefore more compliance and more regulation, I guess, and more stricter standards that they would have to abide by. And so this legislation allows for that. It allows for the smaller operators right through to the higher risk operators, the bigger, more industrial producers, to also be regulated in the right fashion. And so I just want to touch on another piece of which was an issue that has been raised by my colleague, the Honourable Damien O'Connor, through his SOP, sir, which is around country of origin labelling. And we are disappointed, sir, that country of origin labelling hasn't been included in the legislation. Sir, if we are so proud as a nation to be selling our produce and supporting our way of life here, it should be a requirement, sir, that we put our country of origin label on our produce. I know we do that in the export side, but I think Kiwis do want to know not only that the food has been made in a safe way and people aren't going to get sick, but also to know where that food has also come from. And I know my colleague Damien mentioned that other countries have followed suit and they do apply country of origin labelling. And I think, like I've mentioned in other debates, I was surprised to learn, sir, that the vast majority of the pork that is consumed in our country actually isn't New Zealand pork, it actually comes from Canada. And so, but I don't think the average Kiwi would actually know that the bacon or sausages or other pork-related products that they do consume actually largely comes from Canada. So, but if there was country of origin labelling that we were required to abide by, then I think that would be good in educating the public as to where their food actually is coming from. But apart from that, sir, I just want to conclude briefly by mentioning that this piece of legislation is really good for Māori. There are stepping stones for Māori to improve their food safety systems, and I know there's the Kaimanawa Order program, which is started off in the new Food Safety Authority, which Labour will be bringing back, but it also encourages Māori to be, and Marais especially, to go into food and trade. And so I commend all those aspects to this bill, and I look forward to it progressing through this House. Kia ora tātou.
Speaker.
Joanne Hayes.
Thank you, Mr.